fully understand Chapter 5, you have to know me a little bit personally. Again, I'm Dave Puckett. I'm the primary author of the book. I pursued and have always understood that when I got into mediation in the mid-'80s in Hawaii, the emotional aspect of a conflict is about 90-10. And the emotional aspect aligns the parties. I always hate to use divorce, but yet divorce is fertile ground for emotions. It's great to make this point. In every conflict, there's emotions. And usually the emotions keeps the parties from seeing the promised land. In this case, resolving the conflict. Okay? Now, Daniel Goleman, many other more published authors, as the book refers to, contributed to my personal development and what I call the subfield of psychology, emotional intelligence, but specifically emotional intelligence and conflict. I've had the privilege a couple of times to speak at the annual convention of the Society of Emotional Intelligence. The key is being able to identify, manage, and diffuse the emotions. It's a great trait of the neutral. The secret and power of mediation in its purest discipline. Before I apologize, Stanley always gets nervous when I just dislike mediators that are lawyers and judges. And of which, in the law school 3-year experience, very rarely, if ever, do you study emotions and the psychological factors of disputes. When we built TEDR, we knew that was the key. That was our differentiator. And how do we take the discipline of face-to-face face-to-face negotiation, and the best processes and trainers and thinkers in in negotiation. We have, whether you like him or not, Donald Trump, Art of the Deal, Getting to Yes, Never Split the Difference. Throughout the text, you're going to see a lot of quotes and references to those leading thought leaders in negotiation. But the key is the emotional intelligence, also labeled properly EQ. Emotional intelligence is probably as vastly misunderstood as mediation itself in the process thereof. And how do you, the neutral, if he or she's trained, can see the emotional, or see the emotional, and how to diffuse the emotion. I apologize for the background noise, but in the majority of the other videos, I didn't show this beautiful balcony, which has been the inspiration the last 18 months as I've written this book. And you see the beautiful city of Miami and emerging bridges. And so by recording out here, you're going to get a little bit of background noise, but my voice carries, so I think you're going to get the gist of what I'm saying. But what we've done in our methodology and in our algorithm is proprietarily harnessed emotional intelligence assessment tools. We like the EQ2 tool that measures and graphs in a standard way, much like the Myers-Briggs personality test that we all took as young folks in school or college. EQ2 brings a baseline of the emotions. Neither party, or the opposing party, doesn't see each other's emotional makeup, but our AI does. Our case manager facilitators do. And the system produces what I call equalization of emotions recommendations. We basically take the EQ2 output, run it through our proprietary algorithm, and present a little report to show the two parties that they're what we call eDNA. And there's often argument that emotional intelligence is not DNA based. A little bit, we'll call it the social science DNA versus the physical DNA, the DNA of emotions. So I think in this chapter, I hope you get in chapter 5 or 6, 5, and the electronic negotiation chapter 7, this merger of the assessment of emotional intelligence from the EQ, but also we're harnessing components that measure voice intonations, even your typed words, looking for emotional trends, and then the responses that the system derives and communicates back are matched to your emotions. That's our secret sauce of emotional intelligence. That is the gist of chapter 5.